Hi, everybody. It's Maria. Welcome to What's the Story with Maria. We are so happy you have joined us. The number one thing we want to do as we start off is we want to thank our sponsors. And our sponsor is Tremont Auto Sales in Peabody, Massachusetts, 97 Tremont Street. So thank you, Tremont Auto Sales. Let's give them a big hand, everybody. Yay. Okay, they've been really sweet, and they've sponsored us for the last 4 weeks. Thank you so much. And I saw the trailer, and those cars are really nice. So I might have to take a trip down to Tremont Auto Sales next time I visit my dad in Stoneham. Okay, so first I want to say hi to the people that join us every week. Suzanne Murray, Chris DePiero, John DeMarco is there, Vanessa Rivera, John Pandish, Louis Goldberg, Howard Fine. Thank you, everybody. So far, that's who we have joining us. Okay, and we appreciate you so very much. Rory Taggart is in Canada. Thank you, Rory. Okay, so my guests tonight are my friend Marcus Simeone and Kitty Skrobela. Now, Kitty and I, we may have maybe walked past each other at some Mac Award show or something, but we've never really broken bread, as they say, although tonight we will, because I made chicken with couscous and cranberries, and it's delicious. So we're going to break bread after this. But, oh, and there's Joe Savino. Hi, Joe Savino. He's very handsome. I'll have to show you a picture later.
Please do.
Yes, oh, that's a good-looking man right there. So, Louise Cormier, I went to high school with her. It's her birthday. Louise, you beat me to it. I was going to say happy birthday, honey. I have so many friends that are Libras, I can't even tell you. So happy birthday. It's Libra season. You know what that means? You're going to be broke, because Libras like nice things. You know who you are. Okay, so Marcus has been my friend for many, many years, and he is one of my very favorite of all-time vocalists. And I say that with a clear conscience because I've told you this for so long. Marcus's voice to me reminds me it's got a little Johnny Mathis in it. It's reminiscent to me of another time. And he doesn't just sing a song, he tells a story. And he always breaks my heart. So Marcus, thank you for breaking my heart all these years. For at least 20 years, you've been breaking my heart with your damn voice and your beautiful songs. Aww. So also, let me see, we have Penny James. Happy birthday, Penny. I know we have another Libra there. Penny was on the show. She's an amazing hairstylist to the stars. And Penny and I are working on a little thing.
John Hoagland.
John Hoagland, where is he?
Hello.
Oh, we love John. John Hoagland is a reviewer and a wonderful human being.
Absolutely.
Gina Savino, my cousin, and has a hair salon. Joyce and Gina are my cousins, and that is Joyce's hair salon, 32 Ferry, I think, right, in Everett, Mass. Eddie Kutsu, I went to high school with him, so all these wonderful people are joining us. So Marcus, now Kitty and you, tell me how you know each other. So we're gonna segue into Kitty in a minute, but well, first of all, when did you meet?
I think we met in 2001.
Okay, so
right?
about 16, 17 years.
2000 or 2001.
Which sounds like yesterday, but it's really not.
It's not. Right.
The early O's. I love when you say that. The early O's.
The early O's. So Kitty is the CEO of Miranda Music, and Miranda Music, M-I-R-A-N-D-A, is the reason why a lot of incredible singers out there have CDs and are able to produce the stuff they do, because Kitty is the angel. They call it in this business, they call them angels, and they, for very good reason. They're the people that say, this is an incredible person. I believe in this person. I believe in this music. I believe in what's happening here, and I want to put some money behind it, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It's not just putting your money down. It's a lot of love behind the project. So Kitty, tell us something about Miranda Music and what you do.
Well, we produce CDs, and Marcus and Sean Harkness, Marcus and Sean Harkness are just about to come out with Miranda Music's 25th CD.
25th
CD. Oh, wow.
25.
Wow. And 25. Sean Harkness is this amazing guitarist. Now, last week I was talking about Bob Monday. Do you guys know Bob Monday? Yeah. So Bob Monday is a friend of mine for many years, and he's a great singer. And Sean Harkness played guitar on his album as well. So Sean, you get around. That's all I'm going to say. Sean Harkness gets around. And take that any way you like. So Scott Evan Davis is here. He was on our show a few. Hi, Kitty and Marcus. He has doing incredible things. Yes, we love. And isn't he cute as a button?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, he's so beautiful, right? He was Cindy Nathan. Hi, Sonny. She calls me Sonny. It's a long story. Hi, Cha-Cha. That's what I call her. That's a long story, too. Okay, so you guys, let's go backwards. Let's go with what's happening now. So you, Marcus, are doing a show and Sean's in the show. Let's grab this right now. This poster.
Well, so, Maria said to bring visuals, and then Kitty said bring your poster. But my poster was already framed and on the wall.
So you just ripped it off the wall. I love it. Okay, I'm going to put this up, and Marcus and Kitty are going to speak into the mic a little. They're going to raise their voice a little bit. This is a show that Marcus.
It's a full duet show.
It's a full duet show.
So Sean sings, he plays alone.
Oh, he does?
Alone. He sings my harmonies.
Okay.
It's amazing.
So Sean Harkness not only gets around with that damn guitar, he's getting around vocally too.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you and Sean will be singing duets, and this is going to be at Don't Tell Mamas. You've already done a show in September, and now Saturday, October 21st.
At 7.
And at 7. And this is a special one. And why is it special?
Well, that's the CD release, and we also have on the album my director Lena Koutrakis,
who I love. I love you, Lena.
I love you, Lena.
Everybody thinks we're sisters,
and,
but Lisa's, she's much more talented than me.
Oh,
I mean, I'm a little sluttier than her, but she's much more talented. Oh, maybe she's slutty too. Lena, maybe we both put out now. All right.
But
Greeks, Italians, you know.
It's all the same.
So we actually started running the show back in April, and it was kind of like I don't know, something to kind of get me back into the swing of things after some changes.
Yeah, and you tend to do one show a month, right?
I prefer to do the one show a month because it allows me to be involved in other projects as well.
Yeah.
And
also stir up your audience.
Right.
I like that.
And it spreads it out as opposed to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And do you try to mix up your days where there's a Sunday, there's a Friday? Or do you do a lot of Sundays, don't you?
I used to until I started doing Friday and Saturdays, which used to be reserved for big corporate gigs.
Okay.
Because I'm also a band leader of a 12-piece band.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that too. See,
so,
this is all the things that people do.
Yeah, so the thing is that I found that now I'm not really doing much of that as much as I was.
Yeah.
And I find that the audiences are so much greater. There's so much, how do you say, plentiful on a Friday or a Saturday.
Right.
And at a Sunday at 7, you know,
people have to go to work the next day. And some people come in from Jersey, Long Island. Now you live in Staten Island, right?
I'm in Staten Island.
That is a haul. That's a haul. But
I'm digging this place, and I'm thinking I got to ask her real estate questions after. I love this apartment.
Well, my friend Shanna Sharp, who was also on the show, who's on her honeymoon right now. Shanna and Alexander got married finally. She made an honest man out of him. So they got married in Alabama and then went to Serbia, where his family's from, and now they're honeymooning in Paris. But she is the real estate agent for this area, and I will give you her number afterwards. Absolutely. Okay, so you do the show with Sean Harkness now. Lena is directing it?
Lena is directing it, right. So what's different about the 21st is that the album, the record, the CD, whatever the kids call it.
Here's CD. Our producer, Kitty, has this. Let's hold this up.
That's
Thank you, Kitty. It's called Blue. I love this. And is it? What's the reason behind the word blue? Is it a double?
It's a blues song.
It's the blues. It's jazz blues, blues songs. It's about the 7 Well,
you can say it.
Lena directed this to be sort of a journey through the 7 stages of grief.
Okay.
Right? So
see, that's what I mean. You always make me cry. Here we go.
Oh no!
No, I love it. I love to cry. I'm a crier. I love it.
So you have wept at this show.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, you go through it, but you know, as a therapist, I'm also a mental health clinician. I tell my patients, like, you have to go through it to get to the other side. There's
Right.
no other way.
There's no way to open
So
through
you
it.
can't skirt around it and be smiling and happy. There are some songs that are so funny, like the Julia Fordham song, which is probably, I would say, our
I love
single.
Julia Fordham. Do you love Julia Fordham?
love Julia.
I should have known that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that makes complete sense. Folks, if you don't know who Julia Fordham is,
Joe's Pub, October 28th.
No.
I'm going. You should come.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh my
I think
God.
it's my,
Is that October 28th?
It's
oh my
October
God, I
28th.
love Julia Fordham. She's an
She's
amazing,
wonderful.
she's British or Australian?
British.
British.
She's great.
Look up Julia Fordham.
Yeah.
Another heartbreaker. Now I know. Now it makes sense. I would put you guys in that same category.
Well, it's funny because people sometimes will hear me playing her CDs in the background, whether it's at home
And
or
they'll
in the
think
car,
it's you,
and they'll
yeah.
I
go,
think it's him.
"Is that you?"
I'm as
But
broken
it's a
as the
woman.
Manhattan skyline. That is
I
my
love that
favorite
song. Oh my
line
God.
from one of her songs.
That is.
I am as
Love
broken as the Manhattan skyline. How beautiful is
Wow.
that? Look up Julia Fordham. Okay, so that's the way that Lena directed it, and it was
Right.
kind of like a cathartic thing for you, right?
And that's what happens during the show. As I was saying, then by the time you get to the song "Skipping Under the Rainbow," which is like our encore, you're kind of like at a place where, well, I'm gonna stand on the ledge, and I'm gonna, walk on the tightrope, and I'm gonna feel this way because I know that eventually the sun is gonna shine again.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
so the show has that feel, and the songs kind of have that feel.
Yeah.
And Sean Harkness, I just have to say, on the musical side,
I know.
oh my God, you can't believe when you're sitting up there, and I've thought this myself, and there's just two stools, and there's this man,
I know.
and he's
Well,
singing,
there's two men up there. Remember that. It's
Right.
not. I mean, that's what's so great about partnerships with musicians
Right.
or writers. That it's that energy that's going back and forth. That's
Right.
what makes something to me magical.
Right.
So it's
the
the
chemistry,
magic,
right?
And then on the musical end, it sounds like a full band. Like we laugh and we go, it sounds like you
He's
got
amazing.
bass,
Yep.
percussion, guitar. He's
He's-
using his fingers. He's playing the bass line on the guitar, and it's just like
I know.
amazing.
It's just you two.
Just us two?
Oh, my
well,
God.
that's what I started. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So then what happens is, sorry, this is a spoiler. So then what happens normally at the end of every show is Lena comes up
Okay.
to join us on I Can See Clearly Now, which is the
Oh, wow.
absolute last song. It's a
Beautiful.
3-part harmony.
Yeah.
On this particular, Lena Katrakis fans come because on October
Lena's
21st,
great.
Lena is going to be doing 2 duets with me, a solo,
Okay.
and the group number at the end. And that's because we expanded Blue the show for the CD to include Lena on the CD with some more kind of bluesy, jazzy things.
Yeah, and Lena can do some
And
blues.
she
Yeah,
really
yeah,
can.
that's her.
So,
that's her. Yeah, she could sell some blues. Okay, so this is so don't tell mamas. October 21st. It's a Friday, you said?
it's a Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, so what are you doing on Saturday? Get the hell out of your house. First of all, make reservations because it will sell out. You will not be sorry. You're gonna love. If you've never met Marcus, you're gonna love Marcus. If you haven't met Marcus, you know who Marcus is and you know why you love him. And he's won a bunch of awards and all that stuff. I just love your voice, Marcus, and I love what you do. So, Kitty, I want to talk to you now.
Okay.
We'll go back and forth, of course.
All right.
So let's a few more shout outs here because some of our friends have popped back on
No,
here
I haven't been watching.
because we're so involved here. Heather Hooten, she was on the show last week. She was my next door neighbor. A salute to Heather. She is in the armed forces, and we love our
Great.
armed forces people. Justin Elizabeth Sayer. Well, we know Justin. Jennifer Garcia, Carly Bell, Kyle de Blasio, Susie Turgeon, all these wonderful people. Okay, so Kitty, you are this wind in the sails, as I keep saying, and this angel behind all this music. And who are some of the people that you have produced?
Karen Oberlin was my
One of my dad's favorites. My dad has very good musical taste. Love. He introduced me to Karen Oberlin. I was in Massachusetts many years ago. He's like, you have to hear this. And he already had the CD. Yeah.
What do I call
So
it?
she owned a Miranda Music CD
Oh,
back in
yes.
the days of
Back in the
when she was
days in the
Boston.
beginning.
Wow.
Right.
So-
My standards. Karen in a red dress.
Yep.
She's so pretty.
Yes, and a bunch of the Karen ones. My dad is a
Right.
big fan. So Karen Oberlin, Marcus Simeone,
Right.
right?
The first one was Barry Blair, who
Barry
not
Blair.
not everybody knows Barry.
So tell me about Barry.
Well, she was a She was a
Piano player?
piano player. She was at, of all things, Rounds, which was the
Oh my God.
gayest gay bar you could imagine.
The gayest gay bar. So there was a lot of twirling.
A lot of twirling.
A lot of twirling,
Absolutely.
right.
A
lot of throwing shade.
Really cute guys hanging out against the wall.
What year
Very
was
cute.
that, would you say? What era?
Well,
80s?
95.
Okay, 95. So it was pretty
That's when
gay.
we
It was
started
pretty gay.
Making her recording, right.
Wow.
It came out in...
It was before we were mainstream.
Right.
Right, before
Right.
all the straight people wanted to hang out in those damn bars and take
Right,
over.
right.
And hang out with us.
Oh,
They love us
God,
now.
that's how it
It's
happens.
so funny.
First you're hiding in the shadows and you're crying over it. Then you become mainstream and then everybody wants to hang out. Now you can't get a damn table in your own club.
It's,
Isn't that the way it is? I'm
it's
telling you.
true.
And my problem is I don't know what I am. I don't know what
Well, you
I
don't-
am.
You know what? You don't have to be anything. You're a nice person.
It's true.
Yeah, that's
Who
true.
cares? That's another thing. Who
That's-
cares?
that's
You know
fine.
what?
That's another
You-
problem we got to get rid of, labeling.
Labeling. And you know what Woody Allen says?
Yeah.
Woody Allen says being bisexual means it doubles your chances of a date on a Saturday night. Joe Rocks. Did you hear that? Joe Rocks has a show on Thursday nights. So double your chances. Joe Rocks.
That
Sounds
is so
good.
funny.
Sounds good.
So okay,
Anyway.
Kitty, I want to go back to you for a minute.
I know.
So as a kid, because
Oh,
I know, like, as performers, we're like, we just knew at 4 that we wanted to be on a stage, and we took the blow dryer and blew our hair around, and that was I was always a big ham. So what was your story, Kitty? What made you want to produce other people, or did you start off as something else and then decide to?
So I'm a little bit of everybody. I'm everybody. I have a lot of me's.
When's your birthday?
January 18th.
So don't tell me. You are not a Capricorn. You are a Capricorn? Yeah. Have you ever been in the medical profession?
No.
Because that's probably what you should be. You know that. You're very organized. You color code? Yeah,
I
yeah.
color code. Absolutely.
Capricorns. My niece
Absolutely.
Angelica's a Capricorn.
Colors.
Color coded life.
Absolutely.
That's a Capricorn, right?
One of the first things I did, was make a catalog of my parents' record collection.
Okay, you see
And
what
they
I'm
were
as a
di-
kid?
The card,
As a kid.
And the cards
See?
were different colors depending on what kind of music it was.
Oh my
And
God.
they had labels on them, so you could say
That
okay,
is a typical Capricorn. Typical. That's why I said you should. I mean, every Capricorn I've ever met, they have a color coded closet. It's all about color coding Capricorns. That's it. Now, Jesus was also a Capricorn. Do you remember Jesus used to color code back out in the desert? Remember, all his sandals were lined up in color code. I'm telling you. You think I don't
John
know?
Hoagland is a Capricorn.
John
He's still with
Hoagland,
us.
he's so cute, isn't he?
Oh, I love John.
Look at this.
We love
But
John.
you know what? I don't know. His dimple is deeper than mine. I don't know if I'm
And
digging that. John.
Weird.
Are you guys competing over the dimples now?
Yeah,
You
I
and
think we are.
John Hoagland, where's he living now? Is he still in Brooklyn, right?
John is in Manhattan.
Oh, yeah? John, I haven't seen you in so long. Where have you been? Don't hide. He's so cute. He's a good person.
Very good.
I
person.
call John Hoagland my cabaret dad, and I call Kitty Skrobela my cabaret mom.
I love that.
Because they are both it's so
Good
funny
people.
because I remember one Mother's Day after my mom passed away, and my dad had already been passed away, and we were in the nursing home visiting Greg, and it was me and Greg, and I look over, and I think it was either Mother's Day or Father's Day, right? I'm like, there's Kitty and there's John. And I'm like,
Wow.
this is so appropriate.
Yeah, see, it's the people in your life that just stay in it.
Mm.
You know, and it's we talked about this a lot. Living in this city, now you guys are local. You grew up around here. You grew up in Brooklyn, Kitty?
And I live in Brooklyn. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
Ah.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Oh, I love that.
The state by the lake where the river burns.
Oh, I like that. It's like where the river burns. There's a
Yeah,
song.
The river caught
Burns?
on fire.
What do you mean the river caught on fire? What the hell were they throwing in it?
Who threw anything in there? It was just grease.
Grease,
Oh.
yeah.
It caught on fire.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
So the river burns. Wow, in
Yeah.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland,
So your
Ohio.
Cavaliers finally won I don't know if you keep up with sports, but I'm a big sports buff. The Cleveland Cavaliers finally won the basketball championship. I believe it was last year. And now, or 2 years
Go
ago.
Cavs.
Go Cavs. And now, your Cleveland Indians,
Right.
that must be tough for you because the Yankees are playing the Cleveland Indians, and tomorrow is whoever wins that game goes on to the next series of the playoffs. So,
Right.
Kitty, I hate to put you on the spot, but are you rooting for Cleveland or the Yanks? That's a tough one.
Well, if you're from Cleveland, I hate to say it, but you hate the Yankees.
Yeah, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with
it.
it. The Yankees have plenty of fans.
My whole family is from the Boston area.
Well, I grew up in Boston. Red Sox fan right here.
They're Red Sox people.
All right.
Big time.
So Yankees tomorrow night, Cleveland and Yankees. Kitty is going to be on the edge of her seat.
Right.
Right? I'm telling you. She'll be like this.
I was around in 1948.
You were around?
Yeah, when the Cleveland Indians won the World Series, and that's the last time they won.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a big deal. So the Red Sox broke the curse in 2004, and then last year the Cubbies broke the curse.
Right.
2016. So this year, 2017, may be the Cleveland Indians' year. Now, let me tell you another thing, Kitty. I don't know if you know this, but the manager of the Cleveland Indians is Terry Francona, who used to manage the Red Sox. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, there's a little sports thing I just threw at you there.
Jonathan Schwartz would love it.
Would he?
Oh, he's a Red Sox fan.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
we have to hang out.
Red Sox fan.
We have to have some dinner. Okay, so you started... So as a little kid, you were cataloging, so that makes sense. Color coding.
For a living, I cataloged music.
Is that true?
For a living, I did it.
Wow.
And when I got into cabaret, it was because this bunch of kids were outside my library rehearsing for their show, which was a Stephen Sondheim show. And my husband Paul and I would watch all their rehearsals, and I would cry when one of the singers did Being Alive. I mean, he was amazing.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Yes, gorgeous.
Always.
And the next year, I was sitting in the music library, and this guy came in, and he said, I'm new to the theater department, and I would be interested in doing a musical comedy. And I said, well, if you do company, I'll help you.
Oh, you did?
And then a couple of people came in and said, hey, I hear we're doing company this year. And I said, yeah, I heard that too. I wonder where I heard that
from. So see what you started?
Yeah.
And let me ask you something. I know this may even seem cliche and almost corny, but what is the feeling that you get when you do something like that?
Oh, my God.
Because I listen.
Get me started.
No, I want to get you started. That's the whole point.
It makes me cry.
I mean, people like you and that are in our lives make it possible for us to do what we do. Because as artists, we don't always have that kind of cash flow available to do. But people like
I don't either anymore.
All right, but look at what you have, a catalog of
20
dreams that you've made happen.
Right.
That's a really big deal. I mean, that's a legacy that you are responsible for, making other people's dreams possible. That's a really big deal, Kitty.
Thursday, I get to go into the studio with Lena and record her next CD.
And she's a big show-off, so forget it. It's going to be a hit. Always. Well, Lena's great. We love Lena.
And you're working with because
Marissa Mulder.
I was going to say Marissa
Mulder.
Mulder.
Now, is that Maria Mulder's daughter?
No.
Mulder.
It's Mulder.
Oh, it's Mulder. It's different. I don't know. But I saw that and I thought maybe it's Tracy. I love Tracy.
Tracy Stark.
Tracy, we love you. Tracy is so sweet. You know where I saw?
So talented.
Oh, well, that we know. Look, a lot of people in this town are talented. That is a given. We live in New York City. The best of the best is here, and of course, California.
Haunted.
And then, yes, Haunted.
Oh, God.
Okay, so Marcus has 7 CDs, right? This is your 7th. Haunted is actually, I think, Marcus, one of my favorite CDs of yours. And I love the song Haunted. It's beautiful. Did you write that with Tracy?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite things about Tracy. Tracy is tremendously talented, but she is humble. And yet, she's got confidence to beat the band.
Right.
Am I right?
Right.
So
absolutely.
But she lets it come through in her music. When Tracy Stark plays a show, I like to watch her play because it's almost like something's happening. The rhythm is in her body and she is playing with the utmost confidence. But I have never been around her and felt like she was condescending in any way, which she could be. That's a humble.
Which is so important.
Yep. So here's Tracy. You also produced Tracy's?
Well, actually, this is
yours as well. Oh,
this is called "Alone with Tracy Stark."
I love this album too.
Vocal and piano, and Maria has a song that she wrote on here.
Okay, so this is the album. I wrote a song. Thank you, Marcus. I love your performance of that.
Please, I love that.
I wrote a song with Karen Cole many years ago, and it's called Kindness Makes Me Cry, which is on my CD.
Oh, yeah.
If you want my CDs, you just go to my website, mariagentili.com, and you can download both of them.
I suggest you do because they're great.
Well, thank you. And Marcus liked one of my songs called Kindness Makes Me Cry, and he recorded it on his album. And it's beautiful. And Marcus, you also did another one of my songs in a show called If I Was a...
Yeah, I did two. I did two. We did
If I Was a Boy.
If I Was a Boy. And
Kindness Makes Me Cry.
Kindness Makes Me Cry, and So Many Pieces of Me.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Yeah, that's right. You were there that night.
Wow.
It was at,
Boy,
it was at that club downtown.
All right, give me all your albums. Let's show these albums.
We did it alone, and now we'll do it together.
Oh, wow. See, you see the cataloger there. You see she's putting everything together. All right, this is called Together.
Now, Together is a duet CD.
Okay.
Which is, I think we have, 12 different duet partners on there.
12 different. So Barbara Streisand has nothing on Marcus Simeone. I'm kidding. Barbara, sit down.
Well, we
Marcus
have
has
great
a
people on that CD.
Yeah, I know. Name some of the people on this CD.
Marissa Mulder, Karen Oberlin, Kathleen France, Lena Katrakis, who else is on there? Sue Matsuki.
Oh, I love Sue Matsuki.
Oh, God.
I love Sue.
Everyone. It's like everyone.
Oh, but I've seen you do duets with Sue, and I always love it.
Hillary Cole.
I thought you were going to say Hillary Clinton. That would be so.
Maria Ottavia.
And
Stacey
my late husband. We do a duet at the end called Just Remember. So
wow.
that's
Okay, so this album is again called Together.
Together.
This one is called Alone.
Together.
Haunted. I love these albums. What else you got
that
there?
one is my favorite.
The Truth About.
You like this one the best? Why do you like this one the best,
I love that
Marcus?
one the best, and I'll tell you why. Because a fan of mine recently contacted me from Seattle, and she said, I found this album for $5 in a yard sale.
People do that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, right.
Find
she
your
said,
own stuff.
I got it home, and I listened to it. And she said, it told me a complete story, and I saw you and your partner and your family inside this CD, which is really great. It's my most personal because you get to see my mom and dad's wedding picture.
Oh, yeah,
my partner in his wheelchair, my cats, which are very important to me.
I know you love your animals, Marcus.
Yeah, and the songs are just like relevant. Things That Haunt Me, written by Brett Christopherson. Great.
Yes, I love Brett.
Brett's so...
Tim, you know, I got to tell you, Tim DePasqua is one of my very favorite songwriters.
He's amazing.
Also, the sweetest of people.
He really is.
You see, I always say this on my show, just because you're talented doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. You don't.
Thank you for saying
I hate when people are like, oh, well, he's just or she's just a temperamental artist. Bullshit. And I told Kitty not to swear. I told her, I said, Kitty, don't swear. But
I won't.
You can be a nice person and when you're talented. So I'm like over that because people like Tim DePasqua prove that. He is the sweetest guy. Tracy Stark, sweetest guy. John Hoagland, all these wonderful people that we know. There's so many nice people. So I always say, put the bitchy aside. We're overloaded on the bitchy.
Right.
And just be nice.
Even now.
Right? Enough
Right.
with the bitchy.
Now is the time for people to really come together and join forces.
Be positive.
We need to be positive.
You know what? We were talking about this today at school because I also teach in a wonderful school called the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey. It's this amazing, beautiful equity theater, and they have a school attached to it, the Performing Arts Center that I also teach at. And it's the most positive of people that I'm surrounded by. And it's just always, that's what people put out. You know, they show up at work and they put out this amazing positive energy and great things happen in the world. And I read this thing recently that your brain, whatever you put in your brain, whatever you feed it, is what it will feel. So like we all watch a lot of news. We talked about that. But as of late, I have been like on the days of my show, I don't watch the news because I want to stay positive. And lately I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. And it's been opening my mind more and making me feel better. There's something about just listening to people talk that suits me. And going back to the way we used to do things before computers and before cell phones, where we would just sit around, have some coffee or eat something and just talk for hours.
Right.
Do you remember
As
that?
opposed to the kids today, which I love you kids.
I know, we love you too,
but
but
they're sitting at a restaurant. They're sitting in a diner,
Together,
right? And I
and
see
they're
these two
side by
kids.
side.
One
Side by
of them is
side.
my godson, and then his girlfriend sitting on the other side. And they're sitting across from each other, and they're texting.
I know, I
said,
know,
Why aren't you guys speaking? Oh, we're texting each other.
I know.
It's just so odd.
Isn't
to
that
me.
crazy? Well, you know what I heard today? That Kids R Us is is filing for bankruptcy.
Wow.
Do you know why? Because kids are not buying, they don't want toys anymore. Parents aren't buying toys. It's technology, television. They were saying it's the 3 T's, technology, television, and something else. But it's all...
Technology, television, and texting?
Maybe. I mean, it could be. It's a telephone. Technology,
Telephone.
texting. It's all that stuff. And it's so, to me, it's so sad. When we were kids, we were always outside. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Scully
Scully.
with the little bottle caps.
We didn't play that. We played stickball.
Stickball.
You know what we really played?
Potsy.
What's that?
Potsy. It's like hopscotch.
Oh, hopscotch. Right. And see, every city had its own
That's true.
version of things. And we used to play street hockey in Boston when we grew up. Everybody either on roller skates. We had those old
Right.
roller skates with the key. That's what that
Oh,
song,
God, remember
I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. That came from that. We all had those roller skates, and we just roller skated everywhere. We had our bikes. I used to put baseball cards in my spokes with a clothespin,
I used to do that.
and it would brrrr, sound like a motorcycle. All that stuff. When we were out, I remember we were never home. And then your mother would yell from the window or whistle. Some mothers had a whistle. And you would hear your mother whistling or yelling, like whatever your name was. And then everybody, all the kids would get back on their bikes or skates and ride home. We were out all day long. We were playing ball, or we were doing shows.
We're playing
Right.
hide and seek.
We were outside.
Freeze tag.
What the hell
Remember
is
tag?
happening?
Freeze it. And we had to freeze.
That's it. All that stuff. 1, 2, 3, red light. 2, 3,
Oh, yeah.
red light.
Mother May I.
All that stuff. That was so cool. So, I mean, we try to do that in school with our kids. We try to get them to interact. But our students are just amazing, and their parents are amazing, and they're very present. So shout out to the parents there.
That's great that you. I mean, you do such great work other than.
But I work with
music.
really great people. I couldn't do that by myself. It's not happening in a vacuum. That's why I think partnerships, and going back to what you folks do, and working with Lena, working with Sean, partnerships in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you grew up here, like Marcus did in Brooklyn, or came here from somewhere else, like Kitty or myself, what you find here, if you are open-hearted, and you will find a community of people.
Right.
Right?
At least one.
At least one.
At least
At
one.
least one.
Yeah. I think
I have
more
too
than
many.
You have too many. Yeah.
Yes.
Kitty, that's it. Kitty's shut. She's closing. She's cutting it off. No more friends for Kitty. You're done, Kitty.
No
You're
more
too-
communities.
No more communities. You got too many. So, but you meet really cool people, and like I said, if you're open-hearted, you're going to meet some really amazing people. So you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you said something that and I'm so glad that you said it, and I'm so glad that you have this outlet to kind of speak about those kinds of things. You were saying about before a show, you won't watch the news. And I was talking to a friend last night who's going through therapy, and we were talking about a new kind of therapy that most clinicians were introduced to about 2 or 3 years ago, called solution-focused therapy. So I was saying to him, it's as simple as saying, so Maria, I'll see you at the apartment later. No.
Right.
The trainer says, why are you saying, he says, try. So Maria, we'll see you at the apartment for the show later. Yes.
Right.
And it's just changing your language,
Right.
and changing, and it's also what you were saying is so important, altering kind of your thoughts, like cognitive distortions, cognitive restructuring,
Right.
and thinking more positive, and
Right.
thinking on that wavelength. And I think we really all need that.
Yeah, and one of the
it's-
things that comes up in this business a lot, whatever end you're on, is rejection. We've talked about this on the show a lot. Rejection, rejection, rejection. So you have 2 choices. Actually, you have 3 choices, right? You can either roll up in a ball and give up and say, I'm not doing that again. I don't want to put myself out there. And that is an option. Some people don't want to stay in this business, and I don't blame you. It's not an easy business. Then there's other people that say, well, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. This is what I love. This is my passion. So you have to, like Shanna's husband now, Alexander, said that you just have to get a really tough skin. He's a filmmaker and a photographer. You have to get a really tough skin. And how do you do that? You know, that's easier said than done. So what would you say some of you, I have to sneeze, your tricks are? Excuse me. So if something, let's say you get a rejection comes up where maybe a show doesn't sell out. Maybe someone says, Marcus, how many, you sure you want to do another show? You know, there's always those jerks out there that are like, hey, why do you want to do another show? What do you say?
Right.
Or would,
well, I feel like I always have something to say.
yeah, I know. I love
There's
it.
always something to say. Communication is the greatest gift that we have as humans, to communicate the way we can.
Yeah.
So if someone says to me, like, why do you want to do another show? It's because it's what I do, A. It's how I communicate to people through music and through lyrics. And I think that it's healing. It's healing.
It is healing.
We need to. This is the other thing about our business, Maria. You know, here I'm sitting next to a really,
in the
really
camera, I want to keep
great songwriter. Okay,
Thank
she's
you.
amazing.
You
and
too,
she's got
baby.
a great voice. And so here's somebody that, because you're not seeing her on, let's say, I don't know, America's Got Talent, it's like she doesn't exist. And I tell people all the time, support live music, go to the clubs,
right.
go do those things, and you'll find amazing artists. Just because
Right.
somebody is not on some, commercial television show doesn't mean there are a lot of working, and talking about our city here,
Right.
there's so many working actors, singers, dancers, writers, producers, people that are working. You don't see them every day in your living room,
Right.
but they continue to go, and they have their struggles as well.
Yep, and that's actually, thank you for saying that. That is the whole mission of the show, to show that these people that you may or may not know, some of you know them, but a lot of the viewers that we have, or listeners, this show reaches 60 countries, almost 3 million people. 58% of that is in the United States. We go, we have tons of friends in London that check in all the time, and so they may or may not know, but now they're learning about other people, And the thing is, Michael Isaacs was one of my favorite people in this business. He's an incredible songwriter as well, and piano player, and all kinds of things, musical. He's at Brandy's tonight. So if you're not doing anything, at 9:30, Michael Isaacs will be at Brandy's. And he always says, if someone like a Tracy Chapman, she would never have gotten on The Voice. Bob Dylan, Bryan Adams, these people, even Nina Simone, maybe even Sarah Vaughan of their time may not have made it on shows like The Voice, but can you imagine what a crime that would have been to not have known these artists? Because they're not that conventional mold of what these machines are pumping out. Like back then, there was American Bandstand, or things of that nature, or even Soul Train, which was my favorite show as a kid. Oh my God, Don Cornelius and Soul Train. I loved Soul Train.
See that, but
right?
What you're saying though is so important, because someone just the other day said to me, you're doing the show, and you're doing a lot of like heavy material. It's the blues,
Yeah.
And they said, my problem with a lot of these younger people, I'll say younger people because mostly the shows have a lot of younger people on them. They put them up there in front of a huge audience,
right.
and they ask them to do something which is, gut-wrenching, and the kid doesn't have the experience. I think the hard knocks and the tough skin that you develop and all of that stuff really gives you that, when you were watching Janis Joplin, right? That she lived through that stuff.
Right.
Billie Holiday lived through that stuff. It's like, unfortunately, you have to go through some pain, I think, to
but
be
you know
really,
what? Yeah, and that's but that doesn't mean, and because I do want to bring up this point, because then there are people like the Amy Winehouses of the world that will focus. Nothing against Amy Winehouse, and God rest her soul, but she was very focused on being that in that 27 club. Those tortured artists that are gonna.
Right.
Kids, you don't have to do that either.
Exactly.
There is a way to stay open to things and experiences, and listen to people that have been around a while, because there's no teacher like experience. Keep getting on that wheel. You get thrown off the horse, and look, sometimes I don't want to get back on the horse at all. Sometimes the horse is awful. But I find other things to do. Like when something hurts me deeply in this business, and I've been hurt deeply in this business. Like we were talking about this lately, as we get older, sometimes you feel invisible. Like there's a song, I have to write the song. It's like so many of my people my age are saying, we feel invisible lately. Like, does anybody even know we exist? Yes, they do. You have to look elsewhere. We cannot look to these 20-year-olds to validate us because they don't even know who they are yet. But one thing I can tell you about these 20-year-olds is they are looking for guidance too. And I have made connections with people of this age where I realize that they appreciate what we do. They're just afraid maybe to speak up.
Maria, I have to tell you.
No, I'm telling you.
I was singing in a club about 10 years ago, and the cutest kids were standing there. They were 15, 16, and 17. It happened to be a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was kind of sequestered in the corner, paying my mortgage, paying my rent, and not expecting to be kind of recognized. Your people are eating and you're kind of singing. And these three adorable teenagers come up and they're like this. And they say to me, "Did you write that song?" And I go, "No, the song was Someone to Watch Over Me."
Oh my
it was
God.
Gershwin.
I know.
But they're not exposed
cute.
to it. It was adorable. They were like, "Man, that song was so awesome." And I'm like,
But isn't that wonderful?
yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? Like a lot of the kids now that know certain songs, they know them from movies.
Right.
So to them, something that may have been a Gershwin song or a Ronette song or something, they don't know it as a song from the 60s. They know it from Shrek.
Right.
Or, but isn't that great that they get to know it? And it's up to us as people that have lived those stories to tell them. Like don't ever ask me a question and expect me to answer it in one sentence. It's not going to happen. I like to educate people, and especially kids. Like one of the things that we do at our school is we don't just we do pop as well, of course, but we like to give kids songs even from like the 20s, the 40s, all that great stuff, and they love it. They eat it up. They're open. Musical theater. That's why I love musical theater. And you know what? Big shout out to Disney, because about 20 years ago, Disney started putting out all these amazing cartoons.
Yeah, as Broadway musicals. Oh.
And and you know what? A lot of people weren't into that, but it started up a whole new generation. And Glee did the same thing. It did it again.
Oh, Glee.
Glee woke a lot of people up, right?
Yeah. Right.
And started that. Okay, so we have 15.
I
go
just
ahead.
have to ask you.
Please.
You mentioned the Ronettes. Well, Ronnie Spector was
love-
one of my favorite singers in the whole world.
Oh my God, we love Ronnie
I see her
Spector.
like twice a year. In fact, I'm seeing her December 1st.
Where is she now?
Well, December 1st, she's at the St. George Theater, and then she's at the City
She's so
Winery
good, really?
on December 21st.
I hugged her once.
I love her. I'm like a nut. I go see her like 10 times
she's
a year.
so good, Ronnie Spector. Oh.
I love her.
Right? The Ronettes. Oh my God, when I was a kid, the Ronettes were like amazing. Anyway, this made me so sad when it closed. Remember the Bottom Line?
Oh,
What a great club that was.
I loved the
In the
Bottom Line.
Village. And I saw Ronnie Spector there with Michael Isaacs. He was there with me.
Was that like in 87, 88?
No, it was in the
89?
early 90s. Maybe late 90s. Might have been the late 90s we went. And
Maybe
then
it
we
was the
saw
late
her
90s.
again at B.B. King's.
Oh, I love her at B.B. King's.
Oh my God. One of our friends used to have these big soirees for his birthday.
Look, hearts.
Yes, everybody loves that stuff. And he hired Ronnie Spector to do this, and she pulled us up on stage. And oh my God, it was such a thrill. And then afterwards, I waited for her and gave her a big hug. And she was so sweet. And I said, you know what Frankie Lyman was to you? That's what you were to me.
Oh, that's very
It's
sweet.
true.
Frankie
Frankie
Lyman, she
loved Frankie Lyman.
Yeah.
And as a kid, although she wasn't much older than me, but she was 16 and maybe I was 8 or something. But I would listen to her voice and think, how do you produce that
sound?
But you know what? You can learn a lot from listening to other singers. Like I tell my kids this all the time. They say, I can't hit those notes. And I think, like this is in the 90s. And I think, well, you're singing along to Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. What do you mean you can't hit those notes I just gave you? So just tell them, go home and sing along. I used to say records then. Sing along to downloads or whatever.
Sing along to downloads.
You'd be surprised what you can do. Or imitate, opera singers. Or imitate when you think no one's judging you. When you're home alone in your room. Imitate those crazy sounds, and you'd be surprised what you can do, right?
I have to say something on that. Imitating other singers as I was growing up, I would say from like 5 to maybe 15, 16, helped me to be able to later on in life support myself as a singer in this 12-piece band.
Right. Wow.
Where I had to do everything from, Led Zeppelin to Mathis to Elvis to Bruno Mars.
Yep.
And people are just, and they'll say, the funny thing is they'll go like, oh my God, you're like a human, my partner used to say, you're like a human jukebox. But it was great exercise because then came my own sound later on.
Yeah, and you find your own place.
Right, exactly.
It's one, and it's great to be that eclectic, that you have all these different things. Kitty, growing up, what were some of the things that you would listen to, records that you had catalogs of your parents? What were some of your favorites that you would pull out and think, oh, I could listen to this all day?
Well, the St. Matthew Passion by Bach.
The St. Matthew Passion. Okay, but it would move you, right?
Yeah, I used to say if I was on a desert island and I could only have one record.
Right.
It was more than one record, but at any rate, it would be the St. Matthew Passion because it had everything. It had everything.
Wow.
It had concertos, it had solos, it had choruses, it had incredible orchestra, etc. And my mother, my husband and I were there at one point, and he'd just gotten into the St. Matthew Passion, and he was playing it over and over again. She came in and she said, do we have to listen to that? Oh, do we have to listen to
Did you used to do that? Play things over and over and over again?
Absolutely.
So we used to do that till we wore it out. Do you remember sitting around with your friends and just listening to records?
45.
Oh my God, I still have a ton of 45s. Look, I just bought a whole new thing with a turntable.
Oh, great.
Again.
I used to take my allowance to the record store up on Lee Road in Cleveland Heights and buy 45s.
Oh my God, what was one of your first 45s, Kitty?
One of my first.
That you took, and do you remember how much it cost?
69 cents.
Okay. And do you remember what it was?
I loved Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole.
I adored Nat King Cole.
Who didn't? Right?
Too Young was one of my favorite songs.
Wow.
They tried to tell us we're too young, and how old was I? I was 10.
Wow.
Oh,
yes, of course.
That is so cute.
My first 45 I ever bought was it's too late to turn back now. I believe I'm falling in love. Right, the Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose. Sister Rose. Oh my God. And then Brandy by Lighthouse. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl was the second one, and it was 87 cents. Do you remember your first 45, Marcus?
Well, I have to tell you, I learned to read through the 45 record because my uncle, may rest in peace, shout out to my cousin Peter, who was his son, used to take me to the music store on 48th Street, and once a week, I had to be no more than 3 or 4. He would let me pick out 2 or 3 single 45s.
Yeah.
I always went for the girl groups, so they might have been. It might have been Where Did Our Love Go, or it could have been I love Mary Weiss from the Shangri-Las, Leader of the Pack. Oh, or it could have been Be My Baby. So it was one of those 3.
Right. Oh my God.
I love all those groups.
The girl groups. You know what I have up there, Marcus? Look up there. It's like a little hat box right here. Oh, I'll show you afterwards. Yeah. It's a hat box, and it's called Girl Groups. My friend Ron Ward, who's a great leader of a band, punk band, Ron Ward's punk band. He gave me that. I was at his apartment. He used to live up the street, and I was there. I was like, Ron, wow, girl groups. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. Wow. He is a good guy. He's a great guy. And he gave me that, and it's all this collection of girl groups.
Singles? Like 45s?
It's on CDs now. Okay. But still, just amazing things that you forget about. You forget about this stuff.
Now, let's see if you remember this. Interesting. So Kitty's telling us, like, when her first single was Too Young, and was Nat King Cole. Yeah. And I love Nat King Cole. But you want to know who my introduction to Too Young was?
Who?
Let's see if you remember. Somebody who was really big in the early 70s.
Donny Osmond.
Yes!
Oh my God, of course I had that.
I had that too.
I had that album.
Too Young, Puppy Love.
This is not a puppy love. I loved it. The Jacksons and the Osmonds. Oh my God. Who didn't love that? Really? And that's what we did.
One Dead Apple.
One bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch, girl. We love that stuff. Oh my God, you and I could sit around on a Saturday.
I think we should do a show together someday.
Yeah,
What
we
do you
might
guys
have
think?
to. That would
What do you
be
think?
amazing. How much
Great.
fun would that be?
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a retro show.
We should.
Okay, let's talk about it.
We'll do
All right, so let's take a
Right.
moment because we have about 7 minutes left. You see, I told you it flew by.
It flew by.
All right, I am going to.
Did we talk about
I'm going to talk.
Stormy Monday?
Oh no.
Yes, we have to. But let me show our food, Kitty.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
All right, so I always make food. You know, I'm Italian, and that's what we always have. So today, I have made a delicious. This is chicken with Moroccan spices there, Middle Eastern spices, I should say, because I have some spices from Israel that I use, and the chicken with peas and carrots and delicious spices, and then couscous with cranberries and onions. Off the hook, you're gonna love it. We're gonna make that later. And then for our dessert, I have delicious croissants. I know she's laughing at me, but I have to have the dessert. Apricot, chocolate croissant, and cinnamon strudel. So we have that for dessert. So if you want to come over, you know, we're going to be eating that.
Are you on your way?
Yeah. So now let me, so go ahead. You want to talk about Stormy Monday.
Stormy Monday.
So what's happening?
Well, Stormy Monday is a show that we're doing on Monday, October 30th, which is a Monday.
Okay.
Monday, right? I said
Day
that.
before Halloween.
Right.
And it features Sean Harkness as our musical
There's
director.
that guy again.
There
Gets
he is.
around.
Oh, my
Sean
God.
Harkness. Let's hold this up. Okay. Sean, very handsome, by the way. He's very good looking.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. And very compassionate and empathic. I love working with him for that reason. But about this show. So this show is
Get it closer.
going to be,
Stormy Monday.
what Lena and Sean and I wanted to create was something where, it'll be a series and hopefully we'll be there at least maybe once, if not twice a month on Mondays.
Okay.
And it's a thing.
Okay, I like
it's a
that.
thing
And where is that
where
going to be? Don't
The
tell me.
cutting room.
The cutting room.
Which is awesome.
And tell us again what the cutting room is.
The cutting
26?
room is where is
22nd?
I've been there too. I've played it and I don't even know. 44 East
32nd.
32nd.
32nd. Okay,
32nd.
that's moved then.
Right. So
Okay, that's a great room.
and the great thing, what we're trying to do, Lena and Jean-Pierre Perrault did this
he's-
flyer, and it says here just
Jean-Pierre
come
is so
and
nice.
He's amazing. He's produced. He's
another
two of
one
my
in the
CDs.
business that is just the loveliest of human beings.
talented, sweet.
Right?
But what they did when they created that flyer was make it like the old days. So what it is, it's I'll do a tune, Lena does a tune, Sean will do a few tunes, Lena and I will do one together,
Yeah.
maybe two together, and then we have guest musicians.
Oh,
So
I love that.
And it's we want it. How do I say this? And
Just say it.
and hit me in the head if I say
No,
something
I'm
wrong.
not going to hit. Kitty's going to hit you. Kitty, hit him in the head.
Hit me in the but like Saturday Night Fever, watch the hair, watch the hair.
The hair. You mentioned you slapped my
That's
head.
the head.
What?
Tony, sit down. I worked all day on my hair.
My head.
But
The head.
we want this to be a little bit different than what we do in cabaret. So it's not about the lyric, and it's not. It is
Right, it's a
but
jam
this
session.
Is a jam session.
I
right?
get it.
So
Right. I
we're
love that.
asking anyone who
And when is that
come
show
down and hear
happening?
the music, and that's October 30th on a
Oh,
Monday.
that sounds
So
great.
yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm hoping that we're going to have two guests.
Yeah.
I think Sean and Lena are working on that right now.
Okay.
And we want to. It
Sean
sounds
is bringing his electric band.
yeah, he's
I
bringing
think.
his electric band.
You know what? I'm a big fan of jam sessions, and they don't now. Hey, I'm putting this out there. Marcus is already doing it. I'm a big fan of this kind of stuff anyway. Sometimes I do this at my house. I have musician parties, and I invite my friends that are musicians, and not even people that are conventional musicians like do it in the clubs all the time. People that are secret musicians, like Jeffrey Campbell. They always listen to our show. He's an accountant by trade, but he's an amazing piano player.
Wow.
And so I always love to invite Jeffrey and his partner Steven, and they come and Jeffrey will play the piano, and everybody's like, "What? Like you don't even know?" Or some of my friends that play guitar, you have no idea, or they just are great singers, but they don't do that for a living. So I'm a big fan of the jam session, and that's what they used to do in the 50s and 60s, which we need to bring
that's
back.
exactly what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do with this series is create a space where people can go and hang out once, twice a month. Great. We would love it if it could be every week, but we don't know if we're going to, we'll see how it goes. But again, like we're looking at guest artists, like let's say Kathleen Turner. Not a lot of people know she sings.
Does she sing?
Yes, she sings. She's a
I
good
just
friend of
recently, someone was who was playing for her. One of our friends was playing for her recently.
Yeah,
I can't think of. I saw it on Facebook, but
wasn't Tracy? Because Tracy played for Karen Black. Tracy
yeah, I know that. And sometimes you don't know people sing.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Or you don't know people play the piano, and because they're actors,
right?
You know. But a lot of people have many skills. So I applaud you for doing that.
I hope you're going to come sing that.
I would love to. Are you kidding me? I'm a big ham.
And I have to tell you this: it's $10. You can't find.
No.
Where's the other one? Oh, here we are together.
Okay.
Yes.
Shameless. Suddenly I'm shameless self-promotion. But there you go.
No, keep doing it. Okay, so we're getting close to we got to wrap it up soon. That's what Jimmy says. Jimmy, shout out to Jimmy Bell. He is our producer and engineer. I love Jimmy. He's so nice. I love talking to him on the phone. He's a good guy, and he's a funny guy out in New Hampshire. So Jimmy, thank you for all your help. So next week on our show, we are going to have Michael Leon Woolley. You talk about big hams. My apartment's not big enough for him. Okay, Michael is coming in from LA. He is my great friend for a long time. And also joining him is Greg Schlotthauer. Greg Schlotthauer, also my friend. He's a piano player, great songwriter, and he's an LA bi-coastal guy. So next week is the Show, the bi-coastal show. Come and see us. Thank you again, Kitty and Marcus. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. Come back Tuesdays at 9.